Hello, everyone. It is me, Tyree the MC, and today I have Magda with me, and we are talking about mortgages. And it's not so scary. So let's hear a little bit about what brought you to us, and tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a former four-time All-American athlete in track and field, and one-time in cross country. I'm an artist. I'm a mom. I'm a mortgage banker, and I like to help my friends, and I love to dance.
Oh, who doesn't love to dance? So tell me a little bit about what brought you into mortgages. I'm sure you didn't grow up and be all like, I want to be a mortgage broker.
No, as a matter of fact, Sherry, my business partner, Vance, she found me on a framing counter long time ago, way back in the 2000s. And she noticed pretty quickly that I was pretty savvy at what I was doing and said, you need to work for me. You need to do mortgages. And I'm like, I don't want to have nothing to do with mortgages. They sound scary. They blah, blah, blah. Well, push comes to shove, and I ended up working for her and ending up loving it and showing how I can help change people's lives. That was way better than than what I was doing.
And there's something about owning something that makes you feel empowered, right? So can you tell me a little bit about how you empower women with the work that you do?
I can give you an example of who I recently empowered. So I had a lady come to me. So she had lost her job during COVID. She had two jobs. We had qualified her for a home. And then a couple years later, they cut her job. Her car broke down. Stuff went wrong medically. She had two. And then all of a sudden, these bills started piling up. Well, she had the power over home equity. And so she came to me. She's like, hey, my credit score's a hot mess. Can you help me? And we looked at the situation. I'm like, okay, what you want to do, we can't get there from there. We need 2 months. This is how we're going to get there. So we reverse engineered a situation, and all that people need is a plan. Because if you have a wish and you don't have a plan, you can't get to your goal. You've got to have a plan to get your goal. and we got it done. And then the day after we funded, her car broke down and she was able to fix it.
That's something that people are always like really scared about. They're like, I hate renting. I hate having, neighbors on each side of me, above and below, but I had bad credit. So they think that they can't even look at the dream of homeownership. So, and you had mentioned within 2 months, she was able to turn things around. So what do you do to help people who may have challenging credit?
So the first thing is I listen to what your goal is. What are you trying to do? And then I look at what's your current situation, because everything's all temporary. Everything's fixable. It's just people don't know how to fix it, or they think they know, and then they shoot themselves in the foot. So we look at that situation, and then we carefully craft and reverse engineer. Okay, this is how we're going to get there from here. Here's the plan. Can you execute this? And then they'll tell me, oh, it'll take me a year, or oh, I don't think. And then we'll talk about, well, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? And a lot of times they're like, no, I didn't know I can do that. So
yeah, and sometimes it's about priorities, right? Making it a priority. Like, do you want the Gucci purse or do you want your own home?
Well, yeah, though in another case, the lady, I noticed she had like 7 subscriptions, like to like a Netflix and this, Amazon and this and monthly this and that. I'm like, what do you really need and want, and we'll pare it down. And then she was able to put away a rainy day fund. And it's important to have that rainy day fund. That actually empowers you to calm down. And it's a little bit of self-care too, because then you're not always worried in the back of your mind, like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And it's very hard for some people to just start that first $10 in that emergency fund. And that's really, if you don't know where to start, if anything, you do that. Start an emergency fund, and you can put in a little as $1,000 and save. That could be your goal, or you can save up to $3,000, whatever your goal is. But having that actually really does empower you, because you have the freedom to know that if something went wrong, you can dip into that instead of having to worry and be scared about what is my next move.
Oh, I agree with you wholeheartedly. My husband and I started that. We have a little savings account, and if I see it, I spend it. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to automate. We have, separate accounts that automatically, before we even see it, when we get paid, it goes into the separate account. And I'm so thankful we do that, because we had a really large automobile issue that we had to get fixed. And I don't have $1,500 just laying around, but thank goodness we had been putting just, a little bit away with each paycheck that we don't even see. Because if you don't see it, you don't miss it, right?
Right.
So yeah, I totally
It
wholeheartedly agree
allows
with
you to
that.
pivot. It allows you to make decisions like, do I want to switch my job? Can I, whether you're renting or you're owning, you have that emergency fund and you're like, okay, I can take off for a week or two, whether it's for medical or a car accident or go visit mom or whatever. And then the lenders will look at sometimes the reserves that you have. And so that will empower you. So when you take that step to go buy a mortgage, that, oh, I have a little bit of money in the account, because we're lending you lots of money, right? So gotta show a little something. Doesn't have to be huge. I mean, I've qualified people on USDA loans for as little as $500 sitting in their account, and we use other methods to help them with closing costs. So
Okay. Well, that kind of leads me to my next question, because, mortgages, sometimes they can be big and scary. And we had talked earlier, that there's lots of misinformation out there.
there are ways. It's just, again, what do you want to do? Where do you want to live? And let's reverse engineer how to get there, and pair you with a realtor who actually knows the area, to help get you the place that you want.
And of course, we're talking about the Empowering Women's Expo, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, are there specific challenges that women face in the home buying process, and how can they overcome the challenges of the whole buying process?
So some of the challenges that I see with women applications nowadays is just what we just discussed. There's not any kind of accounts anywhere. They're living paycheck to paycheck. They're running up the credit cards, to survive, because they're mama bears. They want to make sure their kids are fed. They want to make sure everything is taken care of. And sometimes it just takes a moment to take a breath and let's reassess the situation. You make plenty of money to qualify. Let's figure out what you're doing and where you're doing and how you're doing it, and step back and make a plan for you, not a plan for everybody else, but a plan for you specifically. And you may not do this or get there today, but it's okay. Olympic athlete doesn't get their gold medal the first day they practice. It takes years sometimes. And to know that if you're working towards your goal, you'll get there.
I live in the Pacific Northwest. This is Empowering Women's Expo. It's in Oregon. Oregon is one of the most expensive places to live. So I think it's hard, and people are like, well, my little apartment is $2,200 and I'm living paycheck to paycheck. How on earth am I going to be able to afford the median home in Oregon? And I don't even know what that is right now. So I guess that's a twofold question. Number one, what is the median price?
That's a realtor question to ask for because the different areas have different cost of living. If you live at the coast, or if you live, outside the Portland metro area, that cost of living is different than it would be Woodburn or Portland. But I guess what you're asking is your affordability.
Yes.
The affordability question is what you're trying to figure out, and you have to look at, again, going back to reverse engineering and figuring out, okay, where do you want to live? Where's your work? Where do you want your quality of life to be? It can be affordable. When it's not going to be affordable is the longer that you wait, because the longer that you wait, so the dollar has been eroding because of all of the nonsense that have been going on this past few years. Inflation kind of kills that. And make that plan, just rip off the Band-Aid and do it out. There is a way to do it. You just have to figure it out with a professional. You have to sit down, not your hairdresser, not your doctor, You go to your doctor for your surgery, and then on the news they're reading off of a teleprompter. They don't know your area, they don't know your goals, they don't know, they're just in there to scare you sometimes. So, and they don't know what they're reading sometimes. They're just
well, and that's a good segue actually to my next question is, with, the change in January with, Trump coming in office. I don't want to get political, but it's hard not to get political when that really impacts the mortgage rates and things. So if I am looking at moving and looking at buying, is it better to do it now or wait maybe until after the second or third quarter next year?
I'll give you an exact, okay, I get this a lot, and I use my own personal example. My parents were immigrants. They bought their first home way back in the 70s. I think it was like $86,000. Right now, the house is worth well over $500,000. That has been paid for. And he's had several mortgages on it, one of which was a 28% HELOC in the 80s. Ooh. He survived. You figure it out. Because he refinanced out of it once the rates dropped, right? I don't think we're ever going to see that again. However, people are so fixated on the interest rate that they miss the appreciation that they're going to gain. It's like a forced savings account for them for when they need it later. You don't have appreciation when you rent. You would have to put your money somewhere else, the stock market or whatever, but those returns sometimes are not there. So, it's a way to empower you for later when you need the money and you need to pull it out because you're paying yourself, right? And then you're hoping that you stay in that house for as long, and if you don't, you sell it and you use it to buy something else that appreciates more, or that is more of your jam at that time, because everybody doesn't stay in their same house all their life, although my parents have.
Mine too.
And that's okay, but everybody's goals are different.
And again, it's all about empowering women. And what is one thing that you want the audience to take away after your session in February?
If you have a dream, it is possible. We just have to map it out. We can do it. The one thing that I want to take away is that you can empower yourself. You have the ability to have a choice and make a choice. It's just a matter of figuring out the plan and routing on how to get there. It may not be the plan that you foresaw for yourself, but it will get you to your goal.
And if you could describe homeownership in 3 empowering words, what would they be?
Security, safety, and memories. Because that's where you're going to make your memories. And you're allowed to make them in your own home, whereas there's restrictions everywhere else. I mean,
Bravo. What is your favorite part about being a speaker at events like these?
I get to get the word out and empower so many women to be able to think about the things that they really want, that they want to do. And if they were even remotely thinking about purchasing but kind of gave up, that they can do it. They can. They have a voice. They just need to know what they want.
If you have one home that you're living in and you are thinking about getting into real estate and having a rental property, what is your advice on people who are on the fence on if they want to start going down that landlord path?
There are 2 types of people. Sometimes they don't want to be hands-on and they have to hire a property management company and to deal with the renting and the maintaining of the home and so forth. And then sometimes they just want to be hands-on and they want to be dealing with all of that stuff themselves. So that is something to think about, is like, how involved do you want to be in that? Because it can be done. You can have your primary residence, you can have your investment property, you can have your second home, as long as you can qualify for that, as long as it can pencil out and then you keep your peace of mind, you can do that. It's just, again, we have to have that conversation, because what's going to be good for you is not going to be good for me. And so, crafting that, how do I say, way for you to be able to change your generational wealth is important to sit down and think about and talk about. I mean, sometimes, people talk about it and they're like, yeah, that's not for me. I think I just only want to have my primary in my beach house, and then I'll rent it out to friends. I'm good. And other people are like, yes, I want to build an empire. I want to own 10 homes.
So what I've learned in our time together, in this short little time, is number one, even if you think that you have bad credit and you're screwed and the dream of home ownership is out of reach for you, that's not true. And I have learned that don't necessarily wait, 6 months to find out if you qualify for a home. Go ahead and do it. It doesn't matter really what the rates are. You can always refi. And I'm hearing, don't wait, do it now.
Yeah, it doesn't cost you anything to see what you qualify for now. And then if you're like, I don't like that amount, cool. What were you looking at? Show me what you're looking, and we'll reverse engineer that. And then, hey, in a couple of months, you're ready then you're ready, and then you're not settling. And that's the thing that, I'd like to be able to empower people, is not to settle. If there's something that you want, you can get it and you can go after it. It just is a matter of time and planning.
Okay. The key thing I'm walking away with is anything is possible if you have a plan.
That's what it comes down to. If you don't have a plan to fail. Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
I have so enjoyed our conversation this morning, and I'm sure that all of the women who are coming to the Empowering Women's Expo are going to love and learn so much from you. So if they don't want to wait until February and they want to meet with you right away, how do they get a hold of you?
They can visit my website, the www.magdamoor.com. It's MAGDAMOOR.com. I have they can do a little inquiry there. Let me know what they're looking for, and I can make an appointment and give them a chat.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time with me today. And I look forward to hearing everything you have to say at the Empowering Women's Expo in February.
Thank you.